Guys, my goal for 2016 was 210 books. Okay, really, that was more of a limit. I've been trying to walk back my reading a tad bit, but it's been difficult, as is evidenced by the fact that in 2016 I read 218 books, about 8 over goal. But I would like to point out that this is still a reduction from previous years. You'll see my reading peaked in 2014 because I was really sick and I had a lot of time to read. Since then, I have started to scale it back, and this year I'm back to and slightly below 2013 levels. So overall, I'm going to say this was a success. So let's move on and talk about the best of the best that I read in 2016. I couldn't decide this year on an order, so here you have, in no particular order, my favorite books of 2016. Ready Player One by Ernest Cline. Whenever people find out that I'm a little bit of an avid reader, this is the most common book they ask me if I've read. I got embarrassed at always having to answer no, so I finally read it. This is a future where we spend an awful lot of time in a virtual reality world. The founder of the technology that made it all possible dies and leaves his untold wealth and empire to whoever can solve this adventure he's left embedded in the program. Trigger a worldwide mania and obsession with the 80s video game culture, which is when said founder was a kid, and on which most of the puzzles in the game are based. Okay, let me say right off that you will still enjoy this book even if you didn't play video games heavily in the 80s. I did not, and I was a little bit nervous going in, but I worried for not. I still was enthralled and entertained. The Martian by Andy Weir. I know I'm the last person on earth to read this book, and I went in with a healthy dose of skepticism, and for the first quarter I was like, yawn, this is like a science textbook. Once NASA comes back into the picture though, it just, wow, it takes off and is a roller coaster ride of, yes, science, but also nail-biting suspense. This is one of those books that is so unique, I'm just never going to forget it. So, to synopsize, sci-fi book about an astronaut who gets stranded on Mars and his struggle to survive. Culty by Mariana Zapata. Alright, this is romance, sports romance at that, and the fact that a sports romance book has made the list is a little flabbergasting to me, as I am typically not the greatest fan of sports-based romance books. I find them a bit eye-rolly, but this one pleasantly surprised me. This is about Sal, who by the way is one of the few Hispanic female leads in romance novels. Anyway, she plays on a professional women's soccer team, and they bring in a coach who was her soccer idol as a teen, but is now very quiet and reclusive. For me, it was just the right balance of romance and plot, so if you're looking for a good romance story, try this one. I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings by Maya Angelou. I don't even know what to say about this one. Everyone should read this at least once in your life. This story is very powerful, the writing is even more powerful, and it will really make you look at the world in a different way. Edenbrook by Julian Donaldson. This is romance. I think they call these proper romances or something like that. Point is, they got all the romance bits, but none of the shocking bits. So if reading most romance books makes you blush, these might be more up your alley. They're very Jane Austen-y. Julian Donaldson has only written a couple books like this, but I find them cute and well written. While the basic plot skeleton is nothing unique in the Regency world, her execution, characters, and dialogue make this a welcome addition to any reading rotation. Whoa by Hugh Howey. This had been so hyped. I was a tad bit skeptical going in, but I'd gotten the book in a gift exchange, so I kinda had to read it. And as it shows up in this list, you can guess that I loved it, especially the beginning. It just throws twists and turns at you, and you feel like you're reading something you've never read before, which when you read hundreds of books a year is kind of a tough feat. This is sci-fi about a future world where humans have been living in a silo for generations, ruled by tradition and rules whose origin have faded into antiquity. This book, guys, wow, this book. The Devil You Know by Joe Goodman. Alright, I picked this book as a stand-in for all the Joe Goodman books I have read this year. I got kinda a little obsessed with her historical Western romances, and it's really hard to find good historical Western romance. I find this genre has some of the worst examples of romance writing in it. They tend to be very trickily sweet and have idiotic female characters, but not so with Joe Goodman. Don't get me wrong, she's a few duds, but overall her books have engaging dialogue, fun plots, and female characters that do not make me want to shoot myself in the head. My Moneyball by Michael Lewis. I thought it was high time I picked up this book as its name has been thrown at me for years in various work situations. And again, sports, not my thing, so I wasn't sure how much I'd get into it. Yeah, that was not a problem. This book sucked me in. Despite the fact that Michael Lewis can get a wee bit rambly in this thing, it does not really matter. The story shines through, and it's just a fascinating look at entrenched tradition on a collision course with the power of data. Illuminae by Amy Kaufman. I had been losing my faith in the YA genre before reading this book last January. I felt there was just starting to be a sameness to the genre, but this book is just so unique, and while it may sound gimmicky, the gimmick really works here. So this is told as if it's a post-event report on why a catastrophe happened. It's all emails, medical reports, interviews, IM conversations, computer logs. Again, sounds gimmicky, and it kinda is, but it really works for this story. It adds a richness and almost tactile in the moment authenticity to the whole thing. I just really recommend this book, even if you're not typically into YA. Alright, drum roll please! For those of you who have been following along, I have this ongoing project where I read the books with the most ridiculous titles I can find. Thank you to all of you who've been actively involved in ferreting out the most ridiculous titles that you can find for me. Now it's time for me to announce the best ridiculous title book I found this year. Now, this isn't what title was the most ridiculous. This was the book with a ridiculous title that was actually, surprise, really good and enjoyable, and I really actually liked it. Proving that you should never judge a book by its really truly ridiculous title, and the winner this year is Husband for Hire, Bears for Hire Book 1 by T.S. Joyce. Please note that fur is spelled like animal fur because our main character is a werebear. A werebear who accidentally answers an ad for a mail-order husband to work on an Alaskan subsistence farm. My ridiculous books need to have a couple things: good characters, a satisfyingly melodramatic plot, and fun dialogue. This book checked off all three. Is this high literature? No. But was it diverting and zany? Heck yes. And what else can you ask for in life? Alright, 2017. In 2017, I'm going to reach my stasis goal, which is 200 books. That's about where I want to stay long term. It's a manageable amount to review here on my channel, while still also allowing me to have fun doing TBR videos and favorites videos and such. Wish me luck, and let me know what your favorite books were in 2016 and what your 2017 plans are.